So this is part 2 of Paige and Chris and the Others. This is Married at First Sight review. Part 1 was on episode 7, season 12. So I had a little more that I wanted to say, right? Just did an hour-long review and I want to add more to it. Ain't that a hot mess? First thing, I want to apologize for all the noise in the first part of the last video. I actually wrote my notes on some of my bills, y'all. Yes, this is what's making all the noise from that last review. So I want to make sure that I apologize. It's not through the whole video. Towards the end, towards the middle is when all that feedback stops. All right. So I wanted to make sure I spoke on what Paige's perspective may be as to why she's still there. But I want to talk about Chris. I didn't talk a lot on him. I kind of gave it to Paige and didn't give it to Chris. And I really think he's here mostly for his businesses. I think he's trying to promote himself and his businesses. I think he's like the youngest of a restaurant or chain of restaurants or some business there in Chicago, and he's trying to promote that. And I feel like that's the majority of the reason why he's on that show. I also question if he's on the show to get back at his ex. He seems like that type of guy, that kind of guy who's like, oh, well, you broke up with me, I'm going to get married. And as I told y'all before, I've been Paige before. I've had an ex, literally, we was dealing for years. We break up, next day, he proposes to his baby's mom. And he put it on Facebook. So my homegirl found out about it. She told me. That day I happened to not be on Facebook. Then a couple years go by, probably like 2 years go by, and we end up back dating. I've been Paige. I'm watching this for a reason. I'm judging this for a reason too. Yeah. I question if he's doing this to get back at his ex. To send a message to her that she better get right. And I think he was hoping that it was going to be somebody he was physically attracted to. And then it snowballed into something else. Or he's lying about anybody being pregnant, and he just really just wanted to get out of this whole thing. And he figured that would be the best way for him to get out of it. So I think Chris is coming from that perspective. I think Chris has the gift of gab, and he knows how to say what you want to hear. I mean, he was an ordained minister, and although I love ministers and I believe in trust, put my trust that the Lord is speaking through most ministers, there are some that take advantage of that. There are some that use that. He comes from a long line of pastors, so you always got to make sure you have the right answers, that you answer correctly, or somebody's going to be judging you or correcting you. He's a pro at it. Just like Paige said, I'm not new to this, I'm true to this. Chris is true to that manipulation. And he did this show because he has a timeline of wanting to have kids at a certain time, wanting to be married at a certain time, and wanting to be in control of that. But I believe there were other motives behind it as well. And it's very telling to me that there was nothing of substance on either one of their lists. He wants her intelligent, which that's one thing. Intelligent, submissive, sexy, good in bed, and a freak. That's it. her God-fearing and wants to have children. That's really all I need. Well, God-fearing, is he showing you that he's a God-fearing man? And if so, what do the God-fearing men in your life look like? What do they look like? Do they behave in this way? Do they act in this way? And if not, why are you still there? If he's not showing you that he's a God-fearing man, why are you still there? Just because a person says they are does not mean that they are. Doesn't mean that they have respect and reverence for the Lord. If he's not showing you that, then he does not have the qualities that you want. If he's not showing you that he wants to even be with you, he's not your husband. Like I said, I ain't judging Paige like from a judgmental place, but I've been her. I've been told, oh, you're not the one. You're not who I typically date. I typically date girls who are light-skinned with long hair. At that time, I'm brown-skinned with boy short hair that's platinum blonde. So if this is what you like, why'd you come over here? Still dated him. And I also wanted to talk about the families. Chris's family really enabled. They really enabled that situation. Him and his choices. Well, maybe he was drunk. That's what you tell Paige. So excuse it because he might have been drunk. The dad on the first day, talking about how she has to submit and give her body to her husband. First day, this is what we're talking about. Why would I be having that conversation with you anyway? For what? Parents completely enabled him. And Paige's family telling her to stick it out. Now, she did have her cousin and her brother was trying to talk her out of it. Cousin tried to, I could tell cousin wanted to say way more. She did say some stuff. But, probably for the sake of TV or whatever else they got going on outside, she probably didn't want to embarrass Paige. But, I definitely would not doubt that Paige is still going to be open and available to him after this. I hope that she's figured it out. It's going to take some time for her to just shift the way she thinks about it. I hope Chris watches himself. I hope the ministers and preachers in his life and the mentors in his life have a talk with him about the way he acts. I really feel like this being exposed, the way it is, public embarrassment, public shame. One thing about somebody like him, they can't stand public shame. That's why he was acting a fool on that trip, on that vacation or honeymoon. He had no regard for her. She was asking him to chill. He's trying to make a scene. Now, I do have his back on something because Virginia and, was it Clara? They needed to mind their business. That wasn't their business. And when he asked them, they should have respected that. But I hope it would take public embarrassment. It would take those people that he's trying to impress to look at him a certain way in order for him to make some changes. Hope he can. Hope he can. Hope he will. But I definitely think that sometimes we gotta sit in the choices we make. And sometimes you don't realize that you're being abused until you mentally, emotionally abused until you get out of it. Because you're in your mind, you're like, well, he said, but he's still hugging me at night. When we see each other, we still hold each other, and he still kisses me. But he said he likes somebody else. Ladies, listen to what he says. Listen to what he says. If he's not claiming you, it's not real. It's not real until he claims you. That's just how you gotta view it. And I'm speaking from experience. It's not real till he claims you. I definitely think those experts do certain things for good TV, but I don't think this was done for good TV, personally. I think there were bigger things at play. Spiritual things at play. She got to sit in her choice. And I hate the public shame that she's going through. Hate that for her. Hope she comes out on the other side and is stronger and is positive and has a healthy kind of faith. Healthy kind of faith. Alrighty, I think that's it for part 2. I just wanted to add more because I kind of went in on Paige, and I stand by what I said, but Chris, he definitely had other motives behind this, and it blew up in his face too. He thought he could talk his way up out of this. He thought he could charm his way out of it. Nope. Can't do it. Alright, I'm out. My name is Sherelle Unique. Please like, please share, please comment, please subscribe. And that's it. I'll holla.